how is everyone doing? Good, I hope. A happy St. Steve's Day to everyone, and I hope you're all having a good day. Like, you know, I'm going to be playing a few more retro games on my Atari VCS now in a minute, you know, and the Atari VCS will survive 2023. There's a lot of haters out there spreading the word that Atari are finished. Far from it, people. Don't believe those people. Atari will be around in 2023, all the way till Christmas. So, that's awesome, you know. And, love it, like, you know. And, awesome stuff, you know. Brilliant. Yep. So, yeah. So, me personally, I'm hoping that Night Driver Recharged comes out for the Atari VCS, you know. I've been on Atari, like, for the past year, and fair play to them, they brought out the arcade version of Night Driver on Antstream Arcade, which is awesome. But I want a new Night Driver game, you know. Night Driver Recharged, you know. Because Atari have been bringing back out all their old games, calling them Recharge, you know, Centipede Recharge, Asteroid Recharge, giving them new graphics and features and stuff. And I hope Night Driver gets the same treatment because it deserves it, you know. But so before I play a few more games on my Atari VCS, let's read some more chapters from this awesome book that my nephew gave me on retro gaming, you know. So Connor, if you're watching this, thanks very much, you know. To me, this is my Bible, you know, because this is the thing I really care about, you know, man. And the thing is, I grew up during all this. I have all the systems, all the games. So this is like the best thing ever for me, like, you know what I mean, you know. So yeah. So I showed you some of this earlier, you know. And I'm gonna so yeah, awesome stuff, like, you know. Yeah, so Atari, you know, the best, the greatest in my opinion. You know, started the whole industry, you know, with Pong, and then the Atari 2600, you know. And they brought out the Atari 2600 Junior in 1986. I remember getting it from Tommy's in Northside. It only cost me something like 80 quid, which is a lot cheaper than the original Atari 2600, which cost nearly 200, like, you know. But anyway, and Pac-Man is the best-selling game on the 2600. Even though it has its problems, it's the highest-selling game on the 2600. But, you know, people were angry, people were pissed off, especially die-hard Pac-Man fans, because it wasn't anywhere near the arcade version. Anyway, it is what it is. And because of Pac-Man and fuck-ups from Atari, the video game crash happened in 1983 in America. But like I said, at the time I was a kid in Masney enjoying playing video games. We had no idea this was happening, but later on we did start feeling the effects of it, you know. But because I was in Ireland, we were the last to hear about this. But if I was in America, I would have known about this from day one. But as I've gotten older, it did. I mean, the people actually worked at these companies lost their jobs. So it was a bad time. It was a recession in video gaming. And it's never happened since then, you know, which is a great thing if we think about it. Since 1983, there's been never a real gaming recession, you know. Because, you know, people just love video games now. It's intertwined with day-to-day life, you know. And Atari started all that. Space Invaders and Donkey Kong, two of the greatest games ever made in my opinion. And they were awesome on the 2600. And these are the arcade versions, but they were awesome. Pretty cool, like, you know. And the thing is, we could play all these games on my Atari VCS, which I will shortly. I just want to keep going over this book because it's great. It really is, like, you know. And because I grew up through this is my childhood, from from the late 70s all the way to now, and we'll be a gamer till I'm in the grave, and yeah, these are the games that made video games, in my opinion. Asteroids, Mr. Command, Pitfall. Now Activision was the world's first third-party video game company, and these guys all worked in Atari. David Crane and a whole bunch of other fellas left Atari to form Activision in, I think it was, well, there we go, 1979. You see, David Crane, Pitfall, and Activision became a worldwide phenomenon. You know what I mean? Jack Black, the actor, when he was a kid, he did a commercial for this game, Pitfall. And that's how he got his start, with Pitfall, 1979. And brilliantly, it was one of the best games on the 2600, And Activision back then were fucking awesome, No DLC, no map packs, no skins or weapon mods. Activision today are not as good as they were, but all game companies now cut parcels out of the game and sell it back to you. That's just the way it is nowadays, But back in the day, Pitfall was awesome. Now, E.T., 1982. Boy, oh boy. Now, this is the game that everyone was looking forward to, myself included, After Pac-Man was such a disaster, this was Atari's next big hit. Now, look, I said, Pac-Man is sold well. It's the highest selling game on the 2600. And it is playable, but it's nowhere near what it should have been. A lot of people felt burned by it, pissed off. I remember people smashing their cartridges, their Pac-Man cartridges, in anger. So this is Atari's next big game. Endorsed by Steven Spielberg and all, the man who quotes, "Video games can't tell a story and they can't develop characters." Well, he endorsed this, didn't he? And E.T. Now, the same guy that made Yars' Revenge, Howard Scott Warshaw, made this game. And many people consider it to be the worst video game ever, And for the longest time, we agreed with them, but it's not the worst game ever, You just have to figure it out, It is confusing, right? The whole thing is E.T. has to phone home and Elliot has to find him. They had to make a phone. The phone is scattered throughout the levels. You have to find them so he can call home. The spaceship comes, he brings him back home. That's the whole thing of the game. But doing that is confusing because you have a time limit, right? Something like 5 minutes, right, to find these pieces of the phone that E.T. has to find. Ring home and phone home. But there's these mad pits everywhere, right? And you fall down, you get back out, you fall down, you get back out, you fall down, you get back out, over and over and over again. And the bits that you have to collect don't look like a phone. So it's very confusing. Like, you're collecting these things and they don't look anything like a phone. So people were confused. They thought, see, what people wanted was an action game, like guns and explosions, but the movie wasn't about that. You know what I mean? It was about E.T. trying to get home. So it is faithful to the game, to the movie, And this is the first. Well, apart from Star Wars, this is the next big movie licensed game, Now, Star Wars was focused on the Death Star, from Star Wars. That's why it was so good. But this it's like a platforming RPG. That's the best way to describe E.T. But boy, the backlash it got. I mean, a lot of people think it's the worst game ever, And this was the second strike for Atari. Pac-Man was the first strike. E.T. was definitely the second strike. Atari was so sure that they'd sell tons of these things. They made more cartridges than there were 2600 consoles. Millions and millions of cartridges that they didn't sell and couldn't sell because people were so pissed off. And the people that did buy it sent them back. So Atari had no space to hold all this, plus all the Pac-Man cartridges. So they dug a big landfill in New Mexico, and they buried them there, covered them over with cement. They thought they fucking no one would notice, but people did notice, and they got sued and all sorts of problems, legal problems. Environmentalists were saying, look, you can't just bury tons of plastic and cover it over with cement and call it a day. So this game did so much damage to Atari, you know. This was all before 1983, the video game crash. But like I said, it's not the worst game ever. A lot of people say it is. In my opinion, it's not. But I understand people's hatred and frustration for it. It's not Howard Scott Warshaw's fault either. You know, again, deadlines. Atari wanted this game out so fucking badly for Christmas time, 1982. It just is a massive fucking disappointment. You know, that's just for Atari, for the fans, everyone. Now, if they had made E.T. like a shooting game or something where you just going shooting things, they probably would have done better. But the fact that you had to find a phone, pieces of the phone, it's scattered throughout all the levels, and it doesn't look like a fucking phone. You play the game as E.T., right? Now, Elliot only shows up if you die. If you die, Elliot comes back and brings it back to life. Now, like I said, you have a time limit, like 5 minutes. So, you either complete the game in 5 minutes or you're dead. You know what I mean? And like I said, you fall down these fucking pits, right? To get out, you press a button and E.T.'s head goes up like that. He's able to fucking get out, but you fall back down again. And these guys in hats and fucking medical outfits are chasing you all throughout the level. And if they catch you, they put you in like this building or like a prison or something. But you can just walk right out again. So it's confusing. See, that's what it looks like. You play as E.T., right, and this guy comes to get you. And he puts you inside this prison or something. And they have, like, you see this all these numbers here, that's like a time limit. And that counts down to 0. Now, every time you move, or if you move fast, or if these guys touch you, the time accelerates faster. So you can't stand around scratching your bollocks. You have to fucking find the pieces of this phone. You had to phone home, which I never did, and I don't think anyone else did either, you know. So, massive fucking disappointment, right? And you know what, I'm going to show you now in a few minutes on my Atari VCS, right? And you can make up your own mind, is it good or bad or whatever, you know. But second strike for Atari, and fucking terrible, like, you know. It really is, like, you know. And so, like I said, Star Wars was kicking it, you know, on the 2600, you know. Empire Strikes Back, fucking awesome. You fly around in the snow, speeders taking down AT-ATs. Simple, fun. You had to stop them from destroying the base on HOTS. So awesome in my opinion, like, you know. This is the sort of stuff fans wanted, you know, just flying around shooting with things, you know. And but you know, people didn't forget E.T. or fucking Pac-Man, you know. So then, okay, the third strike for Atari, and the one that killed them, the Atari 5200, right? Which was not needed. This was not needed, right? But if you're going to do something, you should do it right. Now, this thing is massive. You have no idea how big this thing is. It's fucking huge, right? You could fit 2 Atari 2600s in this, right? And it has a door back here to put the controllers. Now, the controllers here is the biggest problem, and the reason why it failed, right? It came out in 1982 and was banned in 1984. This controller here is the worst fucking thing ever, you know. It's fucking, it's like an analog joystick, right? But it doesn't self-stand there, right? It's all just made out of shit rubber, right? And whatever happens, right, the contact points, they just fucking wear out over time. So nothing, you press a button, nothing happens because the contact points inside just fucking dissolve into nothing. So whatever chemical mixture they use just disintegrates. Just fucking disintegrates. So like 2 weeks, right? Let's say if you got this brand new and if you never touched it, right? 2 weeks time, this wouldn't work. The buttons wouldn't work, nothing would work. Because the contact points that touch the circuit board or the motherboard just disintegrate. So a massive fucking failure. And the thing is, right, it used a different connection from the Atari 2600. So you couldn't use 2600 joysticks with this, or Sega Mega Drive joysticks with this, because a different fucking part, right? So, big fucking failure. It wasn't backwards compatible with 2600 games, yet its competitor, the ColecoVision, could. So people were pissed off, frustrated. Now this was fucking dear, people. This was more expensive than the 2600. Yes, the graphics on it were better, but if the controller's shite and breaks within minutes, what's the point? What's the fucking point, right? And this didn't get an international release because it did that badly. So, and this was the third strike for Atari. After this, the crash happened, and many people blame Atari because Atari was the biggest company at the time, you know, and they were the ones that were fucking up when it wasn't needed, you know. Now, it wasn't the engineers' fault, it was the executives' fault. They decided to release this controller, knowing full well it was dodgy. And look how big, you have no idea how big this fucking thing is, you know. If you see the PS5, right, you see how big that fucking thing is. This is the same fucking size, right? Terrible. It's a shame, you know. Atari just fucked up and the crash happened, right? So I'm going to end it there, right? And then the 7800, right? This came out in 1986. Because the NES came out and was doing so well, at the time, Atari had new owners, Jack Tramiel, Sam Tramiel. Jack Tramiel was the dad, Sam Tramiel was his son. Jack was the owner of Atari, and Sam was the president. So, because the NES did so well, they decided to release the Atari 7800, right? Which was meant to come out in 1984, but Atari couldn't release it because of the video game crash, and everyone knew just how bad this stunk, and E.T. and Pac-Man. So shops weren't willing to stock Atari stuff because they knew it wouldn't sell. They were more interested in Nintendo stuff, Sega stuff. But the 7800, you know, it's backwards compatible with the 2600. That joystick is fucking terrible. It doesn't break like this thing does. Well, it breaks if you throw it against a wall or something. But this actually works, but it's a fucking terrible joystick. You know what I mean? But this, you can use 2600 joysticks, Sega Mega Drive joysticks. So this is a better console than this piece of shit. But it's like 2 years out of date. This was meant to come out in 1984. So the sound chip is the same as the 2600. The graphics are the same, so there's very little difference between this and an actual 2600, you know. But this has its own library of 7800 games, but because Atari was failing so much, there's not many 7800 games. Atari started cheaping out on the box art, not using colours, just cheaping out any way they could. And it's just a shame because of this fucking thing. And E.T. and fucking Pac-Man, you know. So I'll end this chapter here, right? I'm going to start playing a few games on the on my Atari VCS. So anyway, yeah, awesome stuff, you know. So great book. This is my gospel here, you know. Right, so okay, so I'm going to show you E.T., right? And you can make up your own mind what you think, okay? So E.T. fucking T, you know. Anyway, yeah, so I hope everyone's having a great Stephen's Day and all, you know. And yeah, we can start going back to normal now, I guess. You know what I mean? Right, E.T. What a shame. Like I said, for me, it's not the worst game ever, you know. But we can understand why people were so upset, you know. Because, you know, but it's different than most other games on the 2600. I mean, you're actually doing something. You're not just going around and shooting things. You know what I mean? So, E.T. fucking T. You know? Jesus. Right. So, hope you can see that, you know. Right. Atari 2600 games. We can play 5200 games if we want, which is awesome. And I don't have to worry about the fucking the controller breaking. You know what I mean? Like I said, with the 5200, the thing will just break before your eyes. The controller, even if you never used it, because of whatever materials they use, compounds or whatever, it just fucking disintegrates, you know. So, E.T., what a shame, you know. So I have the whole library here of 2600 games, and zooming on that, you know. What a system, you know. Still have it upstairs, still works, but I have to have an older style television, so I can't use it anymore, and that's terrible the way it is now. Me, there's no SCART anymore, and there's no RF anymore. So if we wanted to play my Atari 2600, I had to get like a bunch of converters and shit like that. So I had to pay more money. So I'm not going to do that. And that's another great thing about the Atari VCS. You know, you had the whole thing here, 5200. You know, Nintendo games, everything. You know, here we go. E.T. right? E fucking T. You know, and it has a great the start music is awesome. Like, we were all like, this is the best shit ever. When we first saw this, we were like, this is gonna be the best game ever, like, you know. And what a fucking just some disappointment, you know. Oh, so just let it sink in for a second, you know, because this was the game that was meant to make Atari truckloads of money, but it didn't, you know. So here we go. So as soon as I start moving, you see the way the timer goes down. So you had to fucking, and so it sounds like a horse, doesn't it? Something like a Monty Python or something. You see that there? That's an object, right? And I assume that's part of the phone. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? It could be anything, like, but here comes this guy. And you see the timer going and fall down the pit. I collect this thing, whatever it does. I press the button, his neck, I can get out of the fucking pit. So he has me, you know. He puts me in this fucking house or whatever it is, you know. So, you know, so what do you think? You know what I mean, you know. So we'll just leave this, go back down the pit, and you know. Now, when we got this, we were up all night trying to figure it out, and we still couldn't figure it out. It's only thanks to the internet that I found out the information that, yeah, it is a phone that you have to collect, and you have to phone home, you know. But you see the time limit going down, 8 minutes to go. So, like I said, it's different than most other games on the 2600, but it's still a confusing mess, like, you know. You press a button, he runs faster or something, you know, which is, I don't know, like. Yeah, so that's E.T., like, you know, in a nutshell. I mean, so, what do you guys think? You know, just look a doctor or something like that. You know, where's Elliot on his bike, you know? Now, he only shows up if you die, you know? Now, I've got two, so... Two what? And what's this? And why can't I pick it up? I don't know, like, you know? What's this? Okay, that... I don't know. I've got three now. I've got three. I got three pieces of the phone, and what's that? There's a C, a letter C beside the arrow. See the arrow pointing up, so I don't know. I've got 3 pieces at the phone, right? I guess I have 3 pieces at the phone. So I'm guessing C means call. That's what I'm thinking. You know, but these guys are coming at me, so what's that? Fuck up. What's this arrow? I don't know. Fall down the pit again. I don't know. Like I have 3 pieces of something. I don't know. Back down the fucking pit again. I'm assuming, but fuck. Down. Right. Okay, so it's telling me to go right. The arrow, you know. Okay. Back down the fucking pit, you know. Sorry for the cursing, but this is just as confusing as it was back in the 80s, you know. It's just, what the hell, like, you know. I've got 3 minutes to figure this out, like, okay. What the hell? Now, I've lost 3 bits of the yolk. Okay, so I got 1 bit back, right? I don't know, like, you know. So, it's ET, you know, and fuck me. Back down the pit. Fuck me. Well, look at this. It's. Fuck off, you bastard. What the fuck? Anyway. I don't know, like, you know, I'd rather play fucking Missile Command or Centipede, something more fucking fun, you know. It puts me inside the fucking thing again, which I can just walk out of. I don't know, like, you know. I've got that 1 piece of the phone. I'm guessing. That's what people tell me. It's bits of a phone, and you have to get them all and phone home. Well, I'm sticking with that story, you know, because it's the one that makes the most sense to me, you know. What's this? So I've got that thing with C written on it. And I got 1 piece of the fucking phone. That's what I'm guessing. Sorry about the cursing, you know. Anyway, I'm back in this fucking place again. What the hell? I don't know. I've only got a minute left to figure this shit out. So, I don't know, I got back down the fucking pit. What's this? Now, if I die, right, fucking Elliot comes up and brings me back to life, and then I start the whole cycle all over again. You know, what the fuck? I've got 3 pieces of the fucking thing. Again. Fuck off. Anyway. Fuck, I don't know, like, you know. Anyway, I'm going to end the video now in a minute, and we'll talk, see, here comes Ellie, you know. So anyway, that's the best we can figure out. Anyway, so I hope everyone has a great St. Stephen's Day, and all the best. Take care, bye bye.